FearnutZ, it's a show where two guys talk to you. Even though you can't talk back, Mr. FearnutZ will feel some are two talking guys. Last 30 minutes to an hour, those two guys that I mentioned have a show named FearnutZ. And you should watch it right now.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of FearnutZ Hour, the best half-hour show on the internet. I'm Mr. FearnutZ, along with me always is Fearsome. What is on topic for today?
Today we're going to cover games that we're excited about from E3. And we chopped it down to 15 games. And before people complain about, oh, why wasn't fucking Gears of War on there, or fucking Transformers or whatever. It's not that we're not excited about these games, it's that we were excited about them already. And frankly, like Gears of War, Resident Evil, you know, we're excited about them, we're pumped, we're going to get them, but we already knew we were going to get them. I mean, they could throw a package out that says Resident Evil 6, and instead of a game disc, it has a turd inside. Chances are we're still going to get at least one copy between the two of us. And most of those games, they're not really adding a whole lot new. You know, they're keeping it fresh enough that we're going to be excited and play them and love them, but not enough that we warrant in most cases, although there's one or two that made it on here that are sequels, that but they added some pretty big changes.
Yeah, and we also had the game of the year, like what we're looking forward to already. We did an episode on that of games coming up this year, and a lot of them were carryover from that. So these are 15 of the games we haven't mentioned in previous episodes and that we were kind of surprised by.
Yeah, and these games, we weren't, even though we knew of a couple of them's existence, we weren't super stoked about them until the E3 announcement. Alright, so let's get right into it. First on the list is Aliens, Colonial Marines. And I know what people are thinking. A lot of Aliens games have sucked in the past. But this one is being done by Gearbox, so they automatically have me as a fan, because Borderlands is one of my favorite games of all time. Not only that, but they've got some serious cred with it. First of all, it's actually recognized as a part of like the official tome of Aliens by the studios. It's seen as a direct sequel to 3. Well, it actually follows the story of Aliens, which is the second movie, and but it takes place right after the third one. And they have some of the writers from Battlestar Galactica actually wrote the story for it. Biggest thing that got me excited about this one, though, is their attention to detail. Like, they have the exact sound files from the archives, the voice acting, even the little beeps on the little radar machine is the exact one they use in the movie. And they're paying a special detail to the weapons, the aliens, everything. I mean, the xenomorphs, they're going to take a lot of time to create and going to be very particular about it. So all this adds up to a lot of excitement for me.
Yeah, it should be interesting. And hopefully they can pull off the multiplayer that was in some of the earlier Alien franchise games, the one that had the face huggers, and it's pretty good. Alright, moving on. We're going to talk about Assassin's Creed 3. Now, neither one of us has been huge fans of the Assassin's Creed series. It's one of those that I have picked up on Steam just a couple weeks ago, and I still haven't even made it through. It's one of them that I've been wanting to play, I just never gotten around to it. But it's always looked interesting. But 3, one, I like the setting because it's set during the Revolutionary War. 2, they showed a clip of some naval battles, which looked amazing at E3.
Yeah. And
3, you're playing a Native American hero, which is rare to see in games. There was a few games like Prey, you did that, but it's rare to see that. And I think that's a cool character to be.
Yeah, this is the first Assassin's Creed that I've actually been pumped about. Just because it's usually too platform heavy for my taste. And they never have co-op or anything. So as we've discussed many times before, my one-player attention span is pretty short.
I think Brotherhood did have co-op, or at least multiplayer.
Yeah, it had multiplayer. And at first, I started to get excited for that one. Then I read into it, and it was an actual co-op.
It wasn't co-op.
Yeah, and so my excitement waned pretty quickly. All right, ready for Beyond Two Souls?
Sure. Let me find it. There it is. Alright, so Beyond Two Souls is a game that I'm personally super excited about because it's from Quantic Dream, and Cage, once again, wrote and directed the game, who did Indigo Prophecy and Heavy Rain, two of my all-time favorite games. And what he does really well is it's not so much a game, it's an interactive drama. And that means that you are basically watching a movie that you're fully interactive with, which I think is awesome. It's really well written. This one has Ellen Page in the lead role, so it's going to be really well acted. And it just looked beautiful. A lot of people saw the tech demo that they put out, and that looked amazing. This game looks even better than that.
Yeah.
So super excited about that one.
Yeah, and the main thing that got me excited on it is, well, of course, Ellen Page, who I've had a crush on forever and will totally make my Canadian wife one day. But, by the way, you should check out Trailer Park Boys if you want to see her early work.
Yeah, that was pretty surprising to see her on there.
Yeah, it was, but it was nice. But the big thing that got me is the protagonist. The only game I have experience with from them is Heavy Rain, and it's nice to see the protagonist be a lot more powerful and have kind of this ghost buddy that whips ass with her. I'm super excited about that. I mean, she looked pretty hardcore in the game.
Yeah, if that excites you, you should try Indigo Prophecy. It is more being kind of badass too. I loved Heavy Rain for the story, and I'm hoping that he can deliver again with a really compelling story with this.
Alright, next we're going to jump on to Defiance. Now, Defiance has me excited, but it also has me really scared, because they're reaching pretty far with this, so it could fall very badly. One, it's finally a cross-platform MMORPG. That means Xbox, PS3, PC, all play together. It's a first-person shooter MMORPG, and apparently there's a TV show too coming that it's going to tie in with, and I guess they're going to have like stories related to the TV show as it airs weekly on Sci-Fi. And that's a lot of platforms to cross, so it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. I mean, throwing in the PC is going to open it up to even quicker hacks and mods than the consoles are used to seeing, and it's going to be hard to juggle with the TV show, but if they can manage to make it work for 6 months, then it's going to be heralded as a great game, because, I mean, you can't really expect it to go past then, or it's going to be hacked all to hell by then.
Yeah, I see it being a noble attempt destined to fail. I really don't see this working out. I hope it does. I'm gonna do what I can to support it if it's any good at all.
Yeah. Just
because I think it's heading in a cool direction, but I just really don't see there being any chance of this working out.
I agree completely. Like, it's a 90% chance of failure rate on this, but that little sliver of hope, it could be amazing if it hits in that 10%, but chances are it won't. Alright, next up we got Injustice, Gods Among Us. First of all, it has a story to it, and it's got a story by a couple guys that are mainly known for Jonah Hex, which the comic is much better than the movie, so don't go by the movie Jonah Hex if you saw that, because that was horrible. But they've also written for both DC and Marvel. They're really highly regarded authors, and it's from the same company that did Mortal Kombat vs. DC, which wasn't bad. I liked it. The only thing I didn't like about it was if it's a Mortal Kombat game, I like to see a little more graphic, and I don't think it would have hurt DC to go more graphic, but with this one, it's going to be the same. They're not going to go more graphic with it.
I don't know.
They've already said they're aiming for a T rating, so they're not going to go more graphic. But what has me super pumped, even despite that, is a 28 character roster confirmed. Without even mentioning like DLC characters down the road or anything, 28 characters. And there've only been like, from the trailers and stuff, like 6 or 7 accounted for. And so the other characters, if they throw Lobo in there, I'm going to be all over that shit. I'm so pumped. Like, and 28 characters, that's a big roster to fill up. I think it's really possible that he could get thrown in there. So, especially with talks of making a movie about Lobo. So, yeah. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, it looks really interesting. It looks like a really dark take on the DC universe.
Are you talking like character design?
Yeah, both character design, and it seems like the story's going to be pretty dark.
Well, the character design is supposed to more readily reflect the New 52 reboot, which sadly I'm way behind on. I haven't kept up with it at all, but that's why like Batman's armored, and even Superman looks more like he's wearing like a uniform than just tights with a cape. It's the New 52. When they relaunched that, their main 52 titles, they updated everything, including the uniforms, and so that's kind of cool to me too. Yeah. That they're actually using the new updated uniforms and they're drawing from that.
Yeah, it should be good.
All right, let's see, Last of Us.
All right, so Last of Us is coming from Naughty Dog, who is really well known for the Uncharted series, and this looks like it's going to have a lot of the action of Uncharted, but in a more urban setting, where a lot of times in Uncharted you're in these, fantastic tropical settings. This looks like it's going to be a gritty urban setting where couldn't really tell what's going on. It seems like you're kind of in an apocalyptic world, and kind of zombie-esque people are chasing after you that are just crazy trying to kill you.
I didn't get the impression they were zombies. I got the impression it was more like The Road or Book of Eli type world, where it's post-apocalyptic, like the Mad Max type shit.
That's possible. All I've seen so far is one trailer and what they showed at E3, which is about 7 minutes of gameplay,
right, which
we watched on G4, and we got to hear about 3 seconds of it because everything was beeped. But looks amazing. I'm hoping that the partnership with the little girl doesn't make it feel like a escort mission. Yeah. She looked pretty capable in the clips they showed, but that's what my biggest fear with this game is.
Yeah, I totally agree on that point. Like, I hate escort missions, and I hate games that are one prolonged escort mission. But the one thing I noticed in the gameplay was she seemed to just like go hide and stay out of your way. And
unless you were in trouble.
Yeah. And so that, to me, is awesome. And that opens the door to co-op, which I don't think they've even mentioned, and I doubt it gets thrown in, but it would be great. And, if they could at least, if you were capable of arming her, then it wouldn't make her completely useless to play, and people wouldn't be so pissed to not play Nathan Drake, because come on, Naughty Dog, he looks just like Nathan Drake.
A lot of people actually, and some of the groups I'm on with online, actually said, they would like to play the girl character, and had the badass escort, where they're actually playing the role of, a weaker, more feeble character instead of just this superhero type guy, which I thought would be interesting. So maybe, that would be one of their DLCs.
It would be interesting as an option. Like I said, I would like to have it as a co-op where you could toggle between the two, or, each of you play one. That would be nice. I don't know that I would like going through the entire game being the tiny little girl while the big guy does all the cool stuff. I like to shoot people, and so I would rather be the guy. But anyway, alright, so yeah, that looks good. Mugen Souls. Now, this is one of a couple RPGs that we're covering that I think have been out in Japan for like a year or so already, and they're just making it over here like in the next year or so. But Mugen Souls is a turn-based, non-grid RPG. I'm thinking like Valkyria Chronicles is what I think of when I hear that. there's two things that make me super pumped about this. One, not only can you like create some of your own characters, and the main character herself is actually like 7 characters in one. She has like 7 souls that she can possess, and they all have different attributes and abilities. So you can kind of switch between basically 7 different characters or classes with your main character. There's also like over 1,000 like original characters and enemy types in the game that you not only fight, but if you beat the hell out of them and think you want them in your group, you can use your feminine wiles to seduce them, because apparently they're all pedophiles and you play like a 13-year-old girl. I added the pedophile part, but I mean, if you're a 13-year-old girl and you're seducing people, then obviously they're pedophiles. And it's for the system is like, okay, you beat them up or whatever. Instead of finishing them off, killing them, you use like pickup lines to intrigue or hit on them. And like different characters respond better to like playing coy or being more aggressive and shit. And that's hilarious to me. I mean, it's like a little dating sim thrown into a turn-based strategy game. And I want to play it. Sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. That'll definitely be one that I check out.
Alright, what we got next? Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. Now this one apparently is part of a 2-game series that Studio Ghibli did. And this is Studio Ghibli's first foray into video games. They're mainly known for their animated movies like Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, Secret of Arrietty, all that. And there's 2 things that everybody loves about Ghibli movies. They're great stories, and they have great music, and actually they have great character design too, so let's make it 3. And all 3 of those things are being transferred over. They're using the studio for like the stories and the music and the character design, and so I'm super pumped about that. Like, even if it's not really well executed gameplay or anything, I think it still has a lot of potential just because their soundtracks are amazing, their character design's great, and their stories are great. So I got high hopes.
Their story, their characters, everything's great for an hour and a half, 2-hour movie. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull off a 20, 30-hour RPG, but I have high hopes for it, just because all that stuff will be there.
And see, I disagree, like, on the time limit thing, because when I watch, like, Princess Mononoke, Howl's Moving Castle, I wish there were video games based on those, because I want to play Howl. I want to play Mononoke and the guy whose name I forget. You know, I want to fight the great dire wolves and the forest spirit and shit. I think they will translate awesome. And they have all the different like characters that they can make enemies or friends. I want to have the little woodland spirits with the little clicky heads. I want to hang out with those guys. It's gonna be awesome. Alright, anyway. One Piece.
Alright, so One Piece Pirate Warriors. This is a game set in the anime of One Piece and is an action-adventure type title, which most of the One Piece games that I've made over here are fighting games. So this one's cool because you're actually going to play through as the characters, and it has co-op, which is something that, of course...
Which means I get to play as...
Luffy, while I play as Zoro.
No.
Which is going to be pretty
Not
cool.
Not playing stupid Luffy.
You're playing Monkey
You get
D.
to
Luffy.
be the reindeer.
Oh, I'd be Chopper. Chopper's fucking awesome.
I'm Zoro. You be whoever, but I'm Zoro.
Well, what if I want you to play Usopp?
I don't want to.
Anyway, should be a cool game. And let's see, when's the release date? November is the release date in America for that. So hopefully find out more information. I believe it's already out in Japan, so there should be some screens and stuff that you can find for it.
Well, and the trailer I saw for it looked, the gameplay trailer looked kind of like Dynasty Warriors-ish, which we don't mind.
Yeah.
Like Dynasty Warriors Gundam, we fucking loved that game. That game was amazing. We never did pick up 2.
No. I think 3's already out.
Man, we need to look see if any of them are on sale on the cheap. Pick those up.
I doubt it because they're pretty hard to find. But
I know, it sucks. Alright, anyway. So yeah, looking forward to One Piece. Okay, next is Sleeping Dogs. Now, Sleeping Dogs, it's being put out by Square Enix, but I can't really get a clear read on exactly how much they did on it, because this game has been named like 3 different things. I think it originally started off as a Just Cause sequel, and has been with like 3 different studios, and just keeps getting passed around. And the last time a game got passed around for polish like that, we ended up with Duke Nukem Forever. Which I never played, still plan on playing at some point, but I have never heard anyone speak favorably of it. And that one was handled by Gearbox, which is a good company, and this one's handled by Square Enix, but apparently you just can't polish a turd. And so I'm hoping that they didn't get that. I'm hoping that they got a decent game and polished it up and are making it good. But it basically looks like kind of GTA mixed a little with Shenmue, like more martial arts based, and you can do more like day-to-day stuff, including, are you ready for my top 3 things to do in the Sleeping Dogs?
Yes,
are you ready? Alright, you can watch and gamble on cockfighting, you can join fight clubs, and you can sing karaoke.
Which are 3 things that we do pretty much every day.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Tuesday for us. And so now we can do it in the privacy of our own home. So, it's awesome. Alright, what do we got next? South Park Stick of Truth.
So, of course, we're both big South Park fans. It's had its highs and its lows.
I'm a South Park fan. I wouldn't call me a big
You're a
South
big
Park fan.
See, you watch South Park all the time.
Whenever they put new episodes up of like any of the comedy stuff on Netflix,
South
I watch
Park,
it.
And you love it.
I'm more
Make
like
Love Not
Family
Warcraft.
Guy, Cleveland
Make
Show.
Love Not Warcraft. Is that not the
American Dad.
best episode of anything ever?
It's pretty amazing.
It's the best episode of anything ever.
Like, for every one hit they have like 4 mediocres and 5 not really funny at all.
I disagree.
Alright.
It's way better than like Squidbillies.
No.
So just stop. Just stop.
No
just stop.
No, you can't
So
say something
South
like
Park,
that.
Stick of Truth. We're staying on topic.
Can't wait
Not
for the Squidbillies game
not
to come
ranting on other stuff, especially stupid stuff like Squidbillies.
It's gonna be
So
an awesome
South Park,
game.
Stick of Truth. Anyway, apparently this is being written by Trey Parker and Matt Stone. It's being developed by Obsidian, I absolutely love their games. They make really good systems. They make horrible games. Like, it's so hard to explain. Like, you want to love them, but then there's going to be buggy and it's going to crap out on you. But it's going to be so good when you're playing until that happens. So I'm got high hopes for this. Alpha Protocol is one of my favorite games that came out recently, and I'm hoping this is something along those lines. As an RPG, you get to create your character and hang out with the South Park crew. It looks like it's going to have a lot of the humor from the show, and I have high hopes for it.
I do not have high hopes for it, but I would like it to be good. I just know from past experience that it's really like it's easy to blend some humor into games, but to blend a larger amount of humor into games has proven really, really, really difficult in the past. I mean, nobody likes a joke that goes on for 20 hours.
I do.
And, okay, how about the moon?
That was hilarious. It still is. That's been going on for like 2 or 3 years now.
Anyway, it could be good, and I have high hopes for it. And I think if they focus on the gameplay and on doing the stories, and they keep it fresh with DLC and like weekly events and shit, I think it could be good. And when they sprinkle humor in there, it'd be amazing. Now, if they have like a fart attack, then no, it's gonna fail miserably. It's gonna be stupid.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're gonna go that route.
We'll see. Anyway, on to Splinter Cell Blacklist. Okay, now I should preface this by saying I've never finished a single-player campaign in any Splinter Cell ever. We finished co-op campaigns.
I have finished every single-player Splinter Cell.
I have not. For the same reason that you can say that about Hitman, while I cannot. Basically because both either make it where you have to or really highly reward you for stealth. And I prefer, like, Metal Gear Solid had the perfect combination for me. Like, you could use stealth or you could quickly slaughter everybody in the room. And I would rather slaughter everybody in the room. And that's how I like my games.
You can do that in every Splinter Cell game.
And in Splinter Cells, like, there were a couple, I want to say I was, like, outside, and I couldn't kill the guys with spotlights to stop them from spotting me. So I could just stroll across the parking lot. Because I don't want to dart in the shadows. I want to shoot those guys, and then just saunter on over there, shoot those guys, strangle that guy. That's what I want to do. But anyway, this one has like a fluid combat system, it looks like, where you can select multiple targets and just run through slaughtering people. And I mean, it still looks like there's going to be a lot of strategy and stealth, but broken up with just streams of just amazing amounts of violence. And that I'm super pumped about. And it looks a little darker than the past ones too. Not darker like, you know, lighting, but like it has a darker undertones and stories. I mean, in the gameplay trailer, you know, they're like, oh, save this guy. And he's like, oh, he killed himself.
I don't know. I'm a huge fan of the Splinter Cell series, but I actually think Conviction was my least favorite because it wasn't Splinter Cell. It was an Uncharted game. And this one looks like it's going even further in the direction of not being Splinter Cell. And there's a place for those games, but just like Final Fantasy Spirits Within, don't name it something and then be something else. It should be what it's called. And Splinter Cell is a stealth action game. It's all about sneaking around. It's all about being a spy. And that's not what it looks like it's going to deliver. It looks like it's going to deliver an action-adventure game, which is not Splinter Cell. Just make a new series, throw in a new protagonist, and run off that.
Yeah, and I can completely see your argument there. Like, I don't think they needed to make it a Splinter Cell game, but I am excited about the game. Like, I think it looks like a great game, but it's like the Ghost Recon game, which I love, the new Ghost Recon game, but I don't really think it's a Ghost Recon game. It seems more like a mix of like Gears of War, Splinter Cell, and Rainbow Six, frankly. I mean, with the close quarters and the non-open world sandbox type play, it seems more like a Rainbow Six than a Ghost Recon. But anyway, moving on, Star Wars 1313.
So yeah, this is a new game in the Star Wars universe. And what's cool is you're not playing like a Jedi. That's what you always see in almost every Star Wars game ever made, is you're a Jedi with your lightsaber, your force powers. This one you're playing a bounty hunter. And this one is, basically they said they were inspired by the Uncharted game. So you're going to be taking cover, you're going to be, you know, setting up traps, things of that nature. It looks really good. And it takes place in a really dark, seedy Star Wars universe where most of the time everything's pristine and metallic and shiny. And it looks very interesting. I'm excited to see more about it.
And I'm looking forward to setting you as a normal human. Just really opens up the possibilities of Sith and Jedi boss battles.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be one of the most interesting things, see how they pull that off. Because I want to fight, you know, the Jedis as a normal person. I want to fight the Rancors as a normal person, you know. I think it'd be pretty cool. I think it'll be a lot more, you know, opens up to be a lot more challenging.
Yeah, it's going to be less like you're just a god amongst men,
yeah.
Which is always fun. But at the same time, you know, it's going to be interesting to be on the other side of that.
I agree completely. Alright, next up we got Watch Dogs.
Alright, so Watch Dogs was, I think, quite possibly like the biggest sleeper of the con. because it just came out of nowhere. I don't think anyone really had this on their radar until they saw the clips from it. But basically, you're playing this hacker in a world that is run by supercomputers. So everyone's like got, from what I can tell, like, you know, bio enhancements from the technology. So you're like the great hacker. You're able to start using these systems against the world that is trying to control everything. So it looks really cool. It looks like it's going to be kind of an open world GTA game where you're running around completing these side quests, and it just looks really interesting.
Here's my concern with it. It looked to me, it reminded me of The Matrix. And that's good and bad. Because one, I'm hoping that it is what, you know, the Matrix games should have been. But on the flop side, you know, it could turn out exactly what the Matrix games turned out to be. You know, trying to aim too high and the mechanics and the hacking and stuff not really working out. I'm hoping it works out, and I hope they then go, hey, we can make a great Matrix game, and then finally make a Matrix game that doesn't suck.
I liked the Matrix game, like Path of Neo. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I didn't think they were or that one was as bad as people made it out to be. I didn't finish it. Like, I would not call it a lot of fun. I mean, it got really repetitive.
I enjoyed it.
Anyway, alright, moving on. The last one we got is Zombie U, which is the zombie game for the Nintendo Wii U system. Now, two things really struck me about this. One, it's really dark for a Wii title. I mean, well, like, it was gory.
Wii U title.
Yeah, and so, you know, maybe with the U they're trying to appeal to hardcore gamers again. But it's pretty dark, pretty graphic, good trailers for it so far. And the big thing with the gameplay is they really seem to embrace the use of the tablet controller. From accessing, like, your inventory, you know, like you take it off like you're getting into your bag and search around for your stuff to pull out, like, inventory items. When you go up to a door, it acts as like the keypad to try and guess the the combinations to the keypad. And that could be really awesome, but it could also wear itself out, which, you know, Nintendo obviously has a track record for doing that now, because when the Wii came out, everybody got a Wii. Everybody out there had a Wii. And then towards the end of its life cycle, you just kind of didn't care about the motion controls anymore. You just wanted a regular controller again.
Yeah.
And I think that could very easily happen to the Wii U.
Yeah, and that's really evident with the Wii, because the games that everyone is excited about for the Wii right now are Xenoblade Chronicles, which doesn't use motion controls. Last Story, which is coming up, doesn't use motion controls. About the last game that really used them well, that everyone was excited about, was Zelda. But before that, I can't think of anything before Skyward Sword that you were like, well, that has to have motion controls. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting, and also I'm interested in actually getting my hands on the Wii U tablet, because it does not look like it's going to fit in a lot of people's hands. It looks like it's going to be great for my hands, but it looks like it's going to be a horrible fit for smaller hands to be able to use the tablet.
Well, it's hard to get a grasp on the dimensions from when I've seen people promoing it. Like, I can't really tell, like, how big they are and how big the tablet is.
We have some at work. They're quite large.
Are they pretty large?
Yeah.
And I need to look into the specs of those, because they're talking about, you know, it basically becoming a portable system for them, too. You know, and even, like, taking on the iPad, which I don't think is going to happen, but, you know, who knows? Maybe. And it'd be nice to have, especially if it runs something. This is what's killing me about the mobile market, though, and them trying to, like, do all this shit, like with the Vita and all that. Adopt a system that's already out there. Just use Android, okay? Just use Android as your platform.
Not a fanboy for the Android?
Okay, use, Microsoft. Make a handheld. I mean, you have your fucking mobile platform, make a Handroid, or make a fucking handheld that uses the Windows Mobile. I don't care, as long as somebody makes something that uses the existing like platforms out there, because everybody trying to get on their own proprietary software just fucks everybody. Because instead of people going, oh, I could play, you know, Angry Birds or whatever on my Vita, they're going to be like, well, I can get it on my Vita, my phone, my tablet, my computer. Which one's cheapest and which one would I actually use? And so then you're vying for all these other sources, where if you have it and like they can get it from the Android store or the fucking iTunes or whatever, then they're going to buy more stuff, because even if they don't use it on your handheld, they know they buy it once and they can use it on the handheld if they want, the phone, the tablet, the computer, all that shit. It just makes them more apt to buy stuff from everybody. I mean, I don't know why they're not grasping this. And you see I'm ranting about this shit. Next year, it's going to fucking happen. Everything we rant about comes true. Like, we were ranting about the co-op games not too long ago. This year at E3, like, every fucking game has co-op.
There was a lot of emphasis on co-op.
Ton of fucking co-op. From things you never
and
even thought had co-op.
Games that have co-op, I added one more to the list. That's Ben 10 okay. Omniverse.
That one you can add.
Yeah.
They have it at E3?
Yes, it was. It was announced at E3.
Did they show anything?
Yeah, they actually had a level playable and have a trailer out.
Nice.
So it is a game set in the new relaunch of Ben 10's show.
Which is Rat in it?
The Rat, I don't believe, is in it.
Wow.
But
well, then I don't care for it.
You have Rook.
I like the Rat.
But you haven't met Rook. He's a new character, and he's Ben's partner and the second player.
I've only seen one episode, and it had a rat guy in it as the bad guy. So that's what my basis is on.
You need to watch more of the show, because the show's awesome. And this is a new series with new 16 playable characters that Ben can turn into. Rook.
When's Ben 11 come out?
Ben 11, I don't believe, exists. But you get to play as Teen Ben and Young Ben in this game, because you time travel.
You put the Master Sword in the Temple of Light?
No. It's a experiment gone wrong. Rips time apart. But it's going to be awesome. And that's going to come out this year.
Alright, let's wrap it up.
So, big winner from E3, of course, Ben 10 Omniverse. I think that's the one everyone's talking about. So, alright, got to wrap up. As always, friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, which we still need to start tweeting. We said we were going to do that.
You said that. You don't make a claim if you're not going to back it up.
I just never get on Twitter. I'm going to start tweeting.
All right. I'm going to tell him to get on Twitter as soon as we get done here. I'm going to tell him to turn Twitter on his computer.
Well, I'm going to.
Oh, good.
All right, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's get the views out there. Start sending these around. I want this to become a meme where you just send us to everyone every week until they hate us or love us.
Basically just rickroll them with our videos.
Even if they hate us, at least they'll come on the flame, and that gets us more views and some entertainment.
And I will troll and flame like a son of a bitch.
He will. So as always, this is FearnutZ Hour signing off.